class. Welcome to Unit 4 of the Public Speaking course. It's so great to have you this week in class. So congratulations on making it this far. I know that there's a lot of work in this class, and there's the audience requirement for the speeches, which can really be difficulty, I understand sometimes. So I really appreciate you meeting that requirement and submitting all of your assignments. And I believe I am caught up on grading most of your work for the week. If not, if you'll just give me a few days, I should have them done by Sunday of the week. So let's take a look at what we have going on in Unit 4. So to begin with, this is what we have for our reading this week. Chapter 12, Language and Style. Chapter 13, Delivering Your Speech. And Chapter 14, Using Presentation Aids. And in this week, we are going to start talking a little bit more about your persuasive speech that is coming up. So you're going to keep an eye to the future on that, as well as really focus on delivering your informative speech this week. So our lecture this week is on delivery styles. So you want to make sure that you are thoroughly reading through this whole lecture. It shouldn't take you very long, but it has all kinds of good information. It's chock full. For your discussion this week, you're going to be letting us know what topic you've selected for your persuasive speech, and you are going to be conducting an audience analysis as well. So in your initial response, you want to title your initial response using your name, and then you are going to ask questions that will help you refine your topic to fit your audience. So you're going to consider at least these questions. Are you interested in the topic? Why or why not? What do you know about the topic? Is it good or bad? Why? And do you support the topic? Why or why not? And you may need to ask more questions. So this is just to get you started. Remember, your initial post is due by Thursday of the week. And then by Sunday, you need to respond to at least 3 other classmates. So we'll go all the way down. And then this week, you are also going to be critiquing some speeches. So you're going to go to YouTube and enter speeches or student speeches or famous speeches and select a formal speech. So you need to make sure that it's a formal speech. It's not jokes or bloopers or something like that. TED Talks are always really good for this. If you can find any submissions students have submitted for a class, that can be good as well. So you want to critique the speech based on what you've learned in class. You may want to use the sheet that you used for your peer reviews last week, and that may actually help you with getting an idea of what you should be critiquing. So what you want to do in the first response is post a link to the speech so I can see it, and then post your critique of the speech. And then you're going to respond to your peers, to their critiques as well. You should respond to 3, it says 2. You respond to 2 peers in this one for the speech critiques. And you need to provide any of your own observations of the speech, and if you agree with the critique that your peer has given or not. And for your homework for this week, you're going to be conducting research for the third speech, which is your persuasive policy speech. So you make sure you download the speech research form. And you should have already used this, but you want to make sure you completely fill this out. So don't leave any blanks, okay? Make sure you are using a different database each time, okay? I want 5 different databases, and you need to use at least 3 different types of supporting materials. So don't put in supporting material the content of the material. You need to put the type of material. You want to put, is it a brief example, extended example, a dictionary definition, expert testimony, an analogy. So you want to make sure you're putting that there. Make sure you're copying and pasting the information you're going to use, and include every single bit of this information. If it is a book and you don't have a volume number, just make sure you put NA. And that way I know you realize that should be filled out. You just don't have the information. So let's go on back. So you are going to complete that for this week by Sunday. And you have your second speech assignment this week. It is the informative speech. You will use the outline you created in Unit 3 for that. Please use the comments that I have made in your outline so that you can be sure you are meeting the requirements of this speech. A couple of things that I want to mention is make sure you have a really strong attention getter. So this is just not like a soft opening. You want to have a really big punch in your opening. You want to wow the audience. You want to use like really startling statistics. You want to open with a really compelling story. You want to have a demonstration, something that gets the audience's attention immediately. You also have to make sure you have a credibility statement. The credibility statement is how you are credible to speak on the subject. So, and this is a statement that you want to make 1 or 2 sentences where you explain your, lifelong interest in the subject, or your education in the subject, or your experience. So this, you need to explain why the audience needs to listen to you talk about this topic. So I noticed some folks got that a little bit off in the outline. And then you also want to make sure that you are citing your sources in the text, in the speech. So you're going to include sources and you want to make sure you cite them. So you don't want to do the full APA citation, but what you're going to say is, for example, according to Pew Research, blah, blah, blah. Or according to the latest U.S. News and World Report on the top universities, blah, blah, blah. So the audience understands that it's information from a source, but you don't have to give the entire full APA citation. And then finally, when you are closing, you want to make sure in the conclusion that you close really strong. So just like you open with a bang with the attention getter, you're going to close them with a bang too in the clincher. So this should be a real zinger that leaves your audience thinking. It's sort of the drop the mic moment of your speech. Okay. And I believe that's what we have. Yep. And then you have a quiz on this week's readings. So it's a very, very full week. So I'll recap for you what you have going on. Review the introduction to the unit, the lecture. You have 2 discussions. One of them is on the persuasive speech topic you're going to use for the policy persuasive speech. And number 2 is a speech critique. The homework is the research for your persuasive policy speech. Number 4 is the informative speech delivery. Remember, again, 6 adults. And remember, I have to see all 6 adults at the beginning of the video. It has to be one continuous video, no stops, no starts, no clips. And then at the end of the video, I need to see all 6 audience members. And then we have a quiz this week. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out and contact me.